Exactly right. You are exactly right. Exactly.
I'd like to call to order the March 21st, 2017 regular call board meeting, Fairfield County School District Board of Trustees. We appreciate all of you in attendance. There has been appropriate public notification of the meeting and the confirmation of a quorum, as there are 5 members present. I will entertain a motion to enter executive session for legal, contractual, or personnel matters. We will reconvene no later than 6:30.
Madam Chair, make a motion we enter executive session for legal, personnel, and contractual matters.
Madam Chair, I second.
Thank you, Mr. Frick. Thank you, Ms. Harrison. All those in favor signify by raising of the right hand. We'll exit to executive session and return no later than 6:30. Thank you.
All right.
How are you, young lady? Good to see you. Can't complain being an old man. Do the best I can.
Entertain a motion to exit executive session during which no action was taken.
Madam Chair, make a motion to exit executive session.
Madam Chair, I second.
Thank you, Mr. Frick, Ms. Harrison. We'll move on. Welcome again to the March. We got to vote. Raise your right hand to exit executive session. Dan, you all right with exiting? Thank you. 6-0. We'll move on. Welcome again to the March 21st, 2017 regular call board meeting. This is the regular meeting of the Fairfield County School District Board of Trustees. We will move to the Pledge of Allegiance and moment of silence.
I'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to
silence and reflection. Thank you.
We'll move to the approval of the agenda.
Madam Chair, make a motion to approve the agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Britt.
Everything you want to cut, I second.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. Any comment? Hearing none, those in favor of the agenda as presented signify by raising of the right hand. Got 6-0. Next public comment.
Madam Chair, I believe we have one public comment for this evening. We have Dr. Mason.
I thought you were omitting me, forgive me, sir. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, friend. Woo! Where did all these people come from? Mighty glad to see you here, though. It always thrills me to see people come out to school board meetings who are concerned about the way our schools are going. And what I'm going to talk about this evening in my 5 limited minutes is one of the things that's happening is Dr. Green has begun last year. And folks, let me tell you, it is very worthwhile. It's so worthwhile that I want to encourage especially all the school board members, but a few other people too. What do we call that, Dr. Green, that breakfast meeting?
Faith-based business partner.
Yes, it's faith-based. Now, you know what that means, folks? He is inviting all the pastors, or many of them, to come out to this meeting about once every 6 weeks, once a month? Quarterly, okay. I guess I'm trying to get it more often. Quarterly, where in this very room, he has a very nice breakfast prepared, but more important, it's where the church people, the ministers, the pastors, learn about what's happening with the school district so they can go back and tell the community of their church. And otherwise, they may not ever get it. But more importantly, the most recent thing that I'm very aware of and really enthusiastic about, I have a very good friend who moved down here a few years ago from New York. She's a retired teacher. And she called me to say, Janet, are you aware that Fairfield County is the 50th school district in the nation? I said, 50th? You mean almost on the bottom? She said, that's right. I said, honey, there's something wrong with that figure. I know too many of the kids. I watch them work. There's something wrong with that. Folks, at this last meeting that we had for the breakfast, Dr. Green took the time to explain, and I wish I had the mathematic intelligence to tell you all this in 30 seconds, or even a minute. But if I had 2 hours, I could explain it as well as he does. We're not 50th academically. It's just the way that the configuration, Dr. Green helped me with that. It's the way that it's made.
Yeah, so what you're talking about is the U.S. News and World Report school ranking.
Uh-huh.
That's a state ranking that we're up there.
Right. But the way it's done, if you can see it out, the way he explained it to all these people, I mean, these people sitting here. Oh, by the way, there were a couple of school board members. Mr. Frick, weren't you here?
Yes, ma'am.
And one other person. Help me, folks.
Miller.
Mr. Miller. God bless you both. If I was single, yes, I am single now. I forgot my husband passed away. I might, if I look for a husband, one of these two guys would be eligible. Oh, Frick's married. Oh, well, you're off the list. Now, Mr. Miller, are you married?
Yes, ma'am. 35 years.
Well, I was married 60 years before I lost my wonderful husband, so listen, but I already had the best man in the world. I tell these people, when you've had the best, why try the rest?
That's right. That's right.
But folks, what I want to encourage you to do, please, come out to somebody important in your family or your business. I'm telling you, if you heard Dr. Green explain that we are not 50. When I explained this to this retired teacher, I was struggling trying to explain it to her. It's the way somebody chose to do their mathematics. That's as simply as I can put it. We're not the bottom, one of the bottom school. South Carolina is not one of the bottom school districts in the United States. We're not. So please, to help yourself understand it, seek the information on how this New Year, what is it, Dr. Green? New Year's?
It's the U.S. News and World Report.
U.S. News and World Report. And it's how the mathematics are done, folks. Believe me, we are not on the bottom. And so if you come out to these meetings, like so many of you are tonight, I don't know what's brought you out here, but I'm anxious to find out. So we can do it again. But bring your parents out, because we owe it to our children to become aware of what can we do to make school more fun for them, to make school more important for them. That's what we as parents and community people and teachers, that's what we owe our children, so that they want to be in school, and not just for football games, but because they want to go to the best colleges in the country. And I am so proud of Dr. Green, because he's doing a miraculous job in ways that you don't even know about to try and keep our school district at the top. God bless you all.
I believe if somebody submitted one and I didn't call you, raise your hand. But I think that concludes public comment. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll move. Thank you. We'll move on to presentations and recognition.
So, Madam Chair, the first presentation will be Mr. Mike Quinn from the United Way. And so, Mr. Quinn, if you could come forward with your presentation, please.
Before I start, let me tell you, Dr. Mason, I'm happily married. You all know my wife, Debbie Quinn, works at Dr. Gay's office. That's my wife. I had a wonderful conversation. I'm delighted to be here. Members of the school board, and Dr. Green, and all of you folks for coming out. My name is Mike Quinn. I'm the area representative for the United Way of the Midlands. We cover 6 counties, including Fairfield County, and every fall we conduct an annual fundraiser, and it's always one of my favorite parts of the campaign is when I get to recognize and thank people for making significant contributions. And I'm here to present some United Way awards to some wonderful and truly caring schools. So it's really wonderful, and it speaks to the leadership, it speaks to the school board, it speaks to the administration and the superintendent and all of you for making this happen. So I've got 4 awards I want to present, and if they're here, come on up. Otherwise, I'll just point to it and say this is it. The first 2 awards are called Trailblazer Awards, and these are organizations or schools that had at least a 10% increase over last year, and it has to be at least a minimum increase of $500 or more. So my first award goes to Principal Tracy Swilley for her campaign at Fairfield Central High School for a 23% increase over last year to $4,500, $4,255. The second award, Trailblazer Award, 10% increase of at least $500, goes to Dr. Jennifer Etheridge for right here in this district headquarters for a 48% increase to $2,149. Well deserved. These are some folks who really went beyond and above and beyond. United Way also presents awards for gold, silver, and bronze categories for exceptional per capita giving. What you do is you take the dollar amounts that's raised divided by the number of employees, and you come up with a per capita award level. Gold awards are given for a per capita rate of $150 or more, silver for a per capita between $100 and $149, and bronze awards are given to organizations with a per capita rate between $50 and $99. So my first award, bronze award, goes to Dr. Robin Hardy, the principal from Fairfield Middle School. Her campaign team earned a 2016 bronze award for a $73 per person rate for their contribution of $5,151.95. Thank you so much. Appreciate your support. Next, a bronze award goes to Principal Mrs. Kathy Woodard and her campaign team from Kelly Miller Elementary School for their contribution of $2,719, per capita giving of $54.
I'll be accepting on her behalf.
Couldn't think of a better way to do it. There you go. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Finally, I want to thank everybody in the room and all the faculty and staff at all the schools for being a part of what is expected to be a great year here in Fairfield County. So far, we've raised in Fairfield County, we've raised $41,898, which reflects a 96% of our $44,000 goal. So we're almost there. We're getting really, really, really close. But we're not through. The campaign continues through June 30th, so we've got a little bit of time. But here's the message to take home with you. Those are all great numbers, those dollar figures. But I want you to know that every penny of that, plus 3 more, for every dollar we bring 3 more back. Every penny of that, plus more, comes right back here at Fairfield County. We spend it right here in our community. And I live and work here, and so I make sure those checks keep coming up here and we support things. So where does it go? It goes to fund the Boys and Girls Club here. It goes to Fairfield First Steps. It goes to Fairfield Council on Aging, Eau Claire Cooperative, healthcare centers, and other places. Vernon Kenny's organization are all partners, and we all try to work together, hold hands, and make Fairfield County and the Midlands of South Carolina a great place to continue to work. Here's some other good news. I've stood up here for a couple of years, and I've said this over and over again. I'm about as close as I'm going to get. We put in motion some real plans to expand what we call the Midlands Reading Consortium. This is a program where we help kids with kindergarten, first grade, and second grade to boost their reading skills. And you all know that if you can get a child reading by 3rd grade, their academic success is exponentially terrific from that point on. So we're real close. I've got a budget request at County Council, have them fund that program, so I can bring that program to Fairfield County and make that work. So keep your fingers crossed, say a little prayer when they have those breakfasts. Ask your pastor to say a little prayer, have that program come to Fairfield County. I feel close to this coming. But in summary, let me just say this. Good things are happening in Fairfield County, and thanks to you and the United Way, we're going to make it happen. Thank you very much.
Madam Chair, members of the board, Dr. Edwards is going to assist me in recognizing all of our Data Club convention winners from this past conference. And so without further ado, I'll turn it over to Dr. Edwards.
And I'm going to turn it over to our great principals to recognize their students. And we're going to start this evening with Dr. Martin.
Good evening. Madam Chair, Board of Trustees, Dr. Green. We stand here, we are very excited that our students, we have to recognize them tonight for their accomplishments at the state convention. And we have 4 winners here with us tonight. And those students are, as I call your name, we had, and this is the first time that Fairfield Elementary School has placed, and so we're very, very excited about that. We have Elissa Simmons, 5th grade, Bobby Broom, 5th grade, and Tiara McDuffie. They won 2nd place in the recyclable art. They built the robot, and they won 2nd place. Elissa, now come forward. Tiara and Bobby.
Christina? Bobby? And then you pull down. So take this.
A 3rd place winner for handmade jewelry, and Miss Christina Smallwood, 4th grade student. Would you please come forward?
Yeah.
Someone else has it?
Not least, we want to thank our sponsor, Mr. Joaquin Brown, our assistant principal. He is the sponsor along with Ms. Denise Clark Wilson. And so we thank you for your service to our Beta Club.
Next up, Kelly Miller Elementary.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Madam Chair, the distinguished Board of Trustees, and Dr. J.R. Green. I greet you on behalf of the principal of Kelly Miller Elementary School, Kathy Weir. I am Robin Gaper. I'm the KDS Junior Beta Club sponsor, and I'm honored to stand before you this evening to recognize Zendora Jeter and Sierra. These talented artistic scholars placed 3rd in the recyclable jewelry category at the 2017 South Carolina Junior Beta Club Convention. Can I get their parents to stand as well?
David. So we want to recognize you for your hard work and dedication as well for working with these young folks. Let's give Ms. David a round of Dr. Chandra Bell, please, from McCoy Liston, School of Technology.
Greetings, Board of Trustees, Madam Chair, Superintendent Green. I am elated to stand before you this evening to present our Beta Club winners. We have two students who are with us this evening. We have Montravius White and Destiny Cannon for their second place win for the Technology Division for the Technology Project Above and Beyond. These two students used technology, Movie Maker, to create a video that was 2 minutes, and these students competed against students in grades 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. And we'll have those two students please come to the front so that we can honor them. Thank you so much, and we're proud of you. I would also like to ask Ms. Leisha Miller, who is our lead sponsor, to come forward, and we want to recognize her because it was through her hard work and dedication that these students were able to participate. So we want to recognize her as well. Thank you.
Next was Myra Bramlett from Deed Elementary School. Already here, we go.
Good evening. Good evening, Madam Chair, Board of Trustees, Dr. Green. I'm really elated to stand before you today just to recognize our wonderful Eager Beta Club. I'm going to go ahead and go through a list of our winners. In the ELA division, in third place, Mr. Adrian McMillan, who will be representing us at the Nationals. Come on up. Adrian was also a member of our Quiz Bowl team that got to the Final Four. Next, in social studies, in second place, Ms. Morgan Green, who will be representing us at the National. First place is Spotlight Your Club, and with Spotlight Your Club, it's really a club award because it's basically a board that you do that represents all of the community service, all of the events that represent our club. And so we had a group of students who worked really hard to showcase our club. But the interesting is this year they did something a little different. Usually you would just kind of go in, put your board down. Well, this year, actually they called back the final 5 and they asked for you to send in representatives, and they actually interviewed the students on the spot. And so we actually had some students who had worked very hard on the board, but they were actually competing in others. So we pulled just students and we said, you know what, you know about our club, and they went in and they sold it. And I remember when they came out, they said, Ms. Bramlett, they loved us. And I said, okay. And so I just really want to recognize this group as well, the Spotlight Your Club. Miss Ariana Sampson. Miss Janiyah Holmes. And Miss Naija Austin. First place is our banner. And the students that worked really hard on our banner was Miss Natalia Gray, Miss Maya Bethel, Miss Jayla O'Neill, who also was part of the Quiz Bowl Final Four, and also Miss Micaiah Jennings. And last but not least, kind of how I've heard some of the students say they have squad goals, and that's a group of people who they really look to and they really kind of depend on. And so I really want to really kind of shout out all of our sponsors who are here tonight, and I'm going to call you and I ask for you to come up as well, because they worked really, really hard to help prepare our students, staying after, making sure that they came up with the vision and helping our students practice. And so our lead sponsor is Ms. Charnel Hempfield. Also, we had Ms. DeWandre York. Also, we had Ms. Haley White. We also had Ms. Tasha Pompey. And we also had Mr. Lawson, but I don't think he's in attendance tonight. So I just want to say, just a big shout out, a big congratulations, and also to all of our parents, thank you so much for your support and your dedication and making sure that our students are staying after and practicing and just encouraging them to make sure that it really takes teamwork to make the dream work. Thank you so much.
Let's do another round of applause. And now the Swilling from Fairfield Central High School.
All right, good evening, Madam Chair, Board of Trustees, Dr. Reed, and everyone in attendance tonight. My name is Tracy Swilling, very proud principal of Fairfield Central High School. And first of all, I want to congratulate all of our elementary schools, because I look forward to having you all as Griffins at Fairfield Central High School. So keep the winning up as you matriculate to the high school, and we're excited to welcome you one day. But on tonight, I would like to recognize our Griffins of our Beta Club. Around here, we're known for soaring to greatness, but now they made the state aware that we're soaring to greatness, and we're on the way to let the nation know that we're soaring to greatness at Fairfield Central High School. So, first, we would like to recognize the new South Carolina State President of your Beta Club, Mr. Lamar Richards. First time in school history to have an officer, so why not be the president? For the speech division, and she's currently playing.
He from Zion Hill too. He from Zion Hill too.
Representing Representing for a third place winner in our speech division, Ms. Jamar Green, and she's currently playing in a soccer match. So they're in Chester playing in a soccer match, but wanted to recognize her on tonight. Show choir, first place winner under the direction of Mr. Thessalonia Graham. The members of the show choir, if you're here tonight, if you would please come forward. Samantha Chaplin, Kenitra Anthony, Jocelyn Springfield, Jada Day. Let me say all the names even though some are not here. Michael Feaster, Vernon Kennedy, Tamisha Jones, Curtis Martin, Tiana Foster, Samaje Whitener, Marissa Green, and Jalen Irving. All right, and first place winner in banner, we showed out this year. Under the direction of Miss Sierra Cyrus, Bernicia Anderson, Tiandra Goldknight, Amari Jones, Chantel Blocker, Sabrina Samuel, Ikayla White, Sharnice Manning, Alexis Broom, and Shalexis Ruff. Okay, we also received this year the Gold Key Award for increasing membership over 10%, so they were recognized for that. But I am excited to say that our two advisors have been working with our Beta Club for over 10 years. So this has been a lot of hard work and dedication from Ms. Vanessa Martin and Ms. Shannon Taylor. So we are very excited that Fairfield Central High School Griffins will be competing at nationals. We have two other members present because we know that everybody made the reality. So if you guys can come on forward, because they participated in the skit. If you win, we had to do something. They participated in the skit. They helped Lamar become elected. So, and Sean actually played Lamar. So very proud of them. They will all compete. All of our award winners will compete in nationals on this summer. We're also excited that we had Beta Club Week very recently, last week, and we actually did membership drive. And we are excited that we had over 100 students interested in joining the Beta Club. So we had to add some more advisors because we're looking at a total number of almost 300 students as our goal for Beta Club. So we're excited about that. Again, we're very proud of each and every one of you continue to represent the Griffins because we are truly soaring to greatness. Griffins believe, Griffins achieve, and Griffins succeed. Thank you.
Give a round of applause.
Before Mr. Richards leave, I heard a lot of people bragging about how great his speech was. So is it possible he can give us maybe just a minute of what he spoke about when he won. We welcome him.
Okay. Good evening, board
Good
members.
Good evening.
Everybody that attends. I have my speech that I said, my verbatim speech that I said at the convention. However, my speech was basically on getting the Beta Club members in attendance at the convention, which it was over 2,500 members that were there, to understand that I was going to be a person that would go on the front line and fight for them and try to get more Beta Club members around the state to join and let them know it's not just just an organization based on academic achievement, but the arts as well. And so basically my speech was titled, "Because We Have, We Can." And I let them know that because we have done it in the past, we have excelled academically and in the arts, that we most definitely can exceed and achieve. And yeah, that's basically
And Madam Chair, also want to thank Mike Fannin because he had Mr. Richards to shadow him at the State House after he won the Beta Club. And I know I'm not supposed to be saying it, but I'm going to say it again, that he won over one of Mike Fannon's, I think his seatmate, Senator Malloy, daughter. I think she was running against him, and he actually won over her. So I am extremely proud of him. But I want to also mention about to Miss Vanessa Martin. Is she still here or is she gone? She's already left. Well, I want to say in her absence, I can remember when I first got on the school board, and this district did not have the kind of overwhelming support that we now show for the Beta Club. And I want to thank you, Dr. Green, for supporting the Beta Club to the extent that you do, because it allows our students exposure, and also it shows them how academics and achieving academically can take them to great, great heights. And I've been hearing all over the state, Fairfield Central High School, and the fact that this little 10th grader went out and won our Beta Club. But Vanessa would call me and she would say, "Y'all don't give us no money for the Beta Club." And we'd go, Mr. Miller would go with me, we'd go over there, we support the Beta Club, and we support the Beta Club. But Dr. Swift, if you would let her know that she is very much appreciated for being steadfast, unmovable, and her work shows that everything that she did was not in vain. And you guys just keep doing what you're doing for the Beta Club and keep rising our students. And I just want to say thank you and congratulations.
Madam Chair, if I may just add a bit to what Ms. McDaniel said. Many people don't recognize that the Beta Club is not only about academic achievement, but also about service. And so I commend these students for not only excelling in the classroom, but being committed to service in their communities. And as I listened to some of the things that they expressed in the most recent news story, a lot of what they talked about was understanding their responsibility to be stewards to our community. And very often young people are seen as a Generation X of selfish people who don't necessarily think about others. But this is a testament to how our young people recognize their obligation to being a part of making their communities better. And so in that regard, let's give them an additional round of applause.
Thank you all again, the administrators, the students, parents, all involved. Absolutely outstanding. Makes us very, very proud to sit here and know that you're representing us so well, and the future is so bright. We appreciate all of that. We'll move on to the board minutes. February 21st, 2017.
Madam Chair, make a motion to approve the minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Frick.
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. Comments? Hearing none. Those in favor of the minutes from February 21st, 2017, regular call board meeting, signify by raising of the right hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Opposition, abstention, 1. Thank you. Move to the superintendent's report.
Madam Chair, members of the board, I'd like to bring to your attention once again the outstanding job Ms. Wallace has done capturing all of the wonderful things going on in Fairfield County through our monthly newsletter, The Connector. It is always difficult, I imagine, trying to figure out what things that she does not include, because there's so many great things that she could include on a monthly basis. So doing some time, and you are looking for a little leisurely reading, take some time to read The Connector and find out some of the updates as it relates to what's going on here in Fairfield County. Also, I'd like to bring to your attention that our Hall of Fame Gala will commence on April 29th at 6 o'clock at Fairfield Central High School. It is going to be, once again, a very elegant evening where we get to recognize individuals who have made just tremendous contributions to our community. And that is all I have as it relates to my report. Madam Chair. Okay, and so the next item is the parent request for a hearing. As we've discussed in executive session, there is a parent who is requesting an appeal before the board relative to a decision at the high school. My recommendation to the board is that the board not hear that appeal, and so I present that to the board for a verdict.
Madam Chair, I make a motion the board not hear the appeal.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Fregg. Thank you, Mr. Miller. And as we discussed in the executive session, this certainly is a sensitive issue that would not be brought up for discussion here as far as names and situations. So we'll move forward with the vote. Those in favor of the superintendent's recommendation, which is that the board not accept the hearing request from the parent, signify by the raising of the right hand. Got 1, 2, 3, 4. Opposition, 2. Thank you.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I would just like the record to reflect that I voted against the recommendation because I believe that anytime a parent, regardless how bad the situation may be or how wrong they may be, anytime they come before the board, and they take the effort to come before the board, that we should at least hear them. And that's just my reason. I would like that stated in the record. Thank you.
Thank you.
Basically, it's the same reason. I feel like, you know, if they choose to come to the board, I think they should have that right. Thank you. I would like that put on the record, please.
Madam Chair, members of the board, next item. During our last meeting, we had some parents to present a request to the board to assist in the STEM Cohort 1's trip to England. And the board instructed me through some consensus to move forward. We're trying to find the funds to assist them in that endeavor. After doing a little investigation, it was determined that the remaining balance for the students to take that trip was $9,617. We have since made arrangements to pay that remaining balance. I am asking the board to approve the transfer of $9,617 from the board account, legal, to the account in which we pull those funds from to make that initial payment. Thank you, Ms. McDaniel.
Madam Chair, I move that we accept the superintendent's recommendation and transfer the funds from the board's legal account to the appropriate account to fund the trip to England.
Second, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Ms. McDaniel. Mr. Miller, any comments or discussion? Hearing none, we'll move forward with the vote. Superintendent's recommendation is that the board supply the funding for the remaining balance $9,617, and that transfer be made to that appropriate account from the board legal fees account. Those in favor signify by the raising of the right hand. I think we've got a unanimous vote there. Thank you.
Madam Chair, members of the board, there is an item listed under the superintendent's report, Fairfield County SRO contract. Initially, I received some communication from the Sheriff's Department indicating that they wanted to revisit the SRO contract. Of course, we just recently signed a 5-year contract in 2016, and so therefore we don't need to address that item. I mean, that contract is in place through 2021. Of course, any party can request the review of that contract at any particular point in time. After having some discussions, they do not wish to review it. Therefore, we don't need to address that item.
And who is that coming from back there?
The sheriff's office. Yeah, this is the SRO contract. Okay. And so there's no item to address there.
All right, we'll move on. Curriculum and instruction.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board. Before you, the first item under curriculum and instruction is an overnight field trip request for the girls JV and varsity basketball teams to attend the Jada Williams Team Camp to be held at Coastal Carolina on June the 12th through the 14th. The approximate cost per student is $261.13, and the students are requesting your approval so that they can begin to make payments toward this trip.
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion to approve that field trip.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Frick. Ms. McDaniel, any comments or discussion?
Madam Chair, quick question. I may be stealing Ms. Hartman's question, but this is not paying for it. This is saying we approved the trip, and you said they'd be making payments. Are they anticipating to pay the whole fee themselves, or?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, Ms. Hartman. I figured you were going there then.
Yes, sir.
However, don't raise all the money to be back. Thank you. But they going.
That's always the caveat.
So the clarification has been made. The superintendent's recommendation is that the board approve the field trip request, which does not at this point include funding for the girls JV and varsity basketball teams to attend the Jada Williams Team Camp to be held at Coastal Carolina June 12 through 14, 2017. Those in favor signify by the raising of the right hand. Got unanimous there, 6-0. Thank you.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
before we leave that area, the Beta Club national trip, are we going to fund that, or how is that going to be funded, and when is it?
Yeah, so Ms. McDaniel, members of the board, we will pay the expenses for all students who are competing to include transportation and lodging. There are some students who plan to attend to support Lamar in his campaign to compete at the national level for the presidency. Those students are going to engage in some, in addition to other students, engage into some fundraising to assist with those expenses. What they don't raise in terms of fundraising, those students who won't be competing will be required to pay their lodging. We will pay their registration fees and their transportation, but their lodging would have to be covered through individual funds or fundraisers.
Okay, so they'll be taking charter buses?
Yes.
And this is New Orleans?
No, Orlando.
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 Did you have a date, or can you get us, or is it something you already gave us, or?
June 29th, July 2nd.
June 29th, Mom?
Through July 2nd.
Through July 2nd, yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Dr. Edwards.
Second item for your review are the 2017-18 instructional materials, which are our textbook selections for the upcoming school year. And the textbooks have been on display in our lobby for public review since February. And in bold, the bolded items listed contain the course, and the underlined item also outlines the actual title of the textbook. So for your approval of the 2017-18 instructional materials, also known as textbooks, recommended for your approval tonight.
Madam Chair, I move that we accept the recommendation of the administration in the approval of the textbook selection and adoption.
Second, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Ms. McDaniel, for the motion, Mr. Miller for the second. Superintendent has recommended that the board approve the 17-18 instructional materials, also known as textbooks, and their recommendation for adoption. Any other comments or or discussion? Hearing none, those in favor of the
Is there any way of, I know you've been putting some notes as far as things, reminders or little comments to us. Could we be, something like next year, be told that they're in the office if we would like to look at any of them?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right.
And they were included, Ms. Hartman, in the side pocket in last month's board docs for your notification.
Okay, I must have missed it. Thank you.
Madam Chair. Dr. Green, there's a lot of talk going around, well, not going around, a lot of talk in the state as far as what we're teaching our students as it relates to African American history. And being that we are a district that have a lot of students of color, is there any push from the State Department that you're aware of, or is there any way in the district we can ensure that we are getting good course offering as it relates to African American history?
Pardon me?
I thought I did see a book that was new in that group, in that area. Is that correct?
I'm not familiar with what book you're talking about, Ms. Hall.
Well, it's the books
Yeah.
we just approved.
And so, to respond to Ms. McDaniel's question, I'm not familiar of any push statewide as it relates to an African American history course per se. We have taught African American history here in years past. I'm not sure whether we're currently teaching it or not this particular year. Very often that is driven by demand, as you can imagine. Rather, students are interested in signing up for the course. But that is something that we're always excited about, making it part of our social studies department.
Okay, can we kind of maybe, okay, thank you.
All right, we're back to the motion and second. The superintendent recommends that the board approve the instructional materials. All those in favor signify by the raising of the right hand. 6-0.
Next item, third item is the approval of locally designed elective courses for Fairfield Central High School, Fairfield Middle School, and Gordon Odyssey Academy. And these are 9 courses, and these courses are not new for your approval for the 2017-18 school year. And these courses have been approved previously by the board. And again, these are courses for English 1 seminar, Algebra 1 seminar, Foundations of American Nation, African American Humanities, and also intervention classes that are taught at GOA.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I move that we accept the superintendent's recommendation for approval of the locally designed elective courses for Fairfield Central High School, Fairfield Middle School, and Gordon Odyssey Academy.
Second, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Ms. McDaniel. Mr. Miller, comments?
I just want to, I support the classes. However, Dr. Green, are we looking at these classes to see how the students are improving? You know, I appreciate the fact that the staff is taking the time out, and I do recall us approving them before. But as it relates to developing the students, are we monitoring to make sure that they are actually enhancing?
And so that's a very good question, Ms. McDaniel. I would probably tell you that I think these foundation courses have been instrumental in improving, for example, our Algebra 1 pass rate, since we have been able to add that foundation course. to accompany the Algebra 1 course. Same thing with the U.S. history, as we look at how our pass rate has improved over the last several years. And so, I'll tell you, looking at any objective metric, it shows that those courses are having a positive impact.
Okay. And my second question is, I don't see it on here, and I'm not sure what's, how in-depth the intervention course is at Garden Artist Academy, but as relates to conflict resolution, are we, do we have courses that assist our students? I've been getting quite a few phone calls from parents with issues, particularly at the high school, and most of them I refer to you. So are we offering conflict resolution in particular to try to help our students manage their emotions and conflict when it does arise?
And so, Ms. Renee, we don't try to deliver that through a particular course, but what I will tell you is that through our guidance department, through our social workers, we do provide lots of support as it relates to conflict resolution. Not in the context of a course per se, but in the context of just providing that kind of student support. And so that is something that we consistently try and assist students with. And because I agree, understanding how to manage conflict is essential, because conflict ultimately occurs in all our lives. And I'm working on that myself.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Dr. Green.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, I'm assuming we still have guidance counselors in the high school and junior high, not guidance counselors, but psychologists?
Not psychologists. No, ma'am.
What is it that works with them? It's not guidance counselors, but it's...
Social work.
Okay. So we still have them in the high school and the junior high?
Yes.
Thank you.
Recommendation has been made, and the motion and second have been made to accept superintendent's recommendation and board approval of locally designed elective courses for 17-18 school year. Those in favor signify by raising the right hand. 6-0, Ms. Brown. Thank you.
The next item for your approval is the 2017 proposed academic calendar. And the calendar as attached in board docs, I just want to bring to your attention a couple of changes that from previous years. The first was that we removed the delayed start this year for the upcoming year from the calendar, and instead the schools were able to get an additional PD day allotted to them in August. And of course, the first day of school will be on August the 22nd, because I'm quite sure many of you know that a solar eclipse is scheduled to take place on August the 21st. So our first day for the academic year will be Tuesday, August the 22nd. In addition to that, I know in years past we've had our exams to take place prior to Christmas break, but of course, the way in which that August 21st or 22nd date falls, if we were to do the final exams prior to spring break, we will have 3 weeks left in the 9 weeks. And so of course, that is a change from what we have presented to you in the past. But again, in addition to that, because of the state board and some of the rulings or regulations that have come down from the state board, some of the language has changed. Instead of teacher work day, you will see indicated on the calendar teacher planning. So it's just some semantic changes that were made as well. In addition to that, we also indicated on the calendar 2 parent conference days that would take place on a non-school day for students. However, teachers will have that day for planning for parent conferences, and the conferences will take place to accommodate parents from 11 to 7. So those were the changes that were indicated on the calendar and for your approval.
Madam Chair, I move that we accept the calendar as presented. The recommendation of Dr. Green to approve the calendar.
Thank you, Ms. McDaniel. Ms. Hartman, and notice this is first reading, too, of the proposed calendar.
Madam Chair, are we gonna let the teachers see the eclipse since they gotta come to work that day? It's at work.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Oh.
We're
Want them to go outside and look
They
at
got
your
lights.
clothes?
Cars got lights.
I'm just curious.
Mr. Freeman.
All right, all right.
Yeah, it's
Any other comments? It's been a motion made and a second to accept the superintendent's recommendation for the proposed 2017-18 academic calendar. Those in favor signify by raising of the right hand. Six zero, thank you.
Madam Chair, you didn't call for the question, but I just wanted to ask a question or two.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, I missed it.
Missed your opportunity.
May I still ask my question?
Sure.
She was worried about the teacher series.
He used one of them Trump diversionary tactics on me.
Come on. Come on. You know I went to Philadelphia.
Dr. Green, did I read somewhere that the state is saying we can't start school before that third Monday in August?
Yes, ma'am, Ms. McDaniel, that has been state law for several years now. We have opposed that state law, but that is driven by the tourism industry. And so we advocate that that should be a local decision, and local boards should be able to start school when it fits their community. But we had won that battle yet, we're still working on it.
Okay. The other one I thought there was no, it's always my concern when we have the exams following Christmas versus before. And it was difficult to get them in this calendar before, unless we skipped the 2 weeks at Christmas, and I knew that was going to happen. But I think that was the only one. The major concern was the start date and the exams after we come back from Christmas break.
And so, just to respond to your concerns, Ms. McDaniel, you know, we have consistently referenced those concerns to our to the General Assembly. You know, this year the third Monday obviously fell much later in the month, the 21st.
Yeah.
And so, if we had the latitude to start school when we wanted to, we obviously would start earlier than that, so we could get our exams in before Christmas. But because state law prevents that, then we were kind of forced to make those adjustments. But I can tell you, we continue to push that with our local delegation. I think we have their support. I would encourage you all, whenever you have conversations with the school board lobbyists, to really push that as well.
Okay. Thank you.
The fifth item is our 2017-18 school renewal and district strategic plan annual updates. And as you all know, each year we bring these two plans, or the district strategic plan and the school renewal plans for you to approve the annual updates. And the only major changes, of course, were updates to the needs assessment to reflect the 2016 report card data. And those changes have been noted or added to the district strategic plan along with the district school renewal plans. And these plans or updates are for your approval.
No, there's a motion out there somewhere.
Madam Chair, make a motion to approve the 2017-18 school renewal and district strategic plan annual update.
Thank you, Mr. Frick, Ms. Harrison. Comments?
Madam Chair, I was wondering why my name is on the district one when they make reference to meetings, because I never attended a meeting. I initially was, attended when we first made the strategic plans over a year ago. But in this particular case, I was not, so I just wondered why my name was on there.
And so, if my memory serves me correctly, Ms. Hartman, of course, I participated, and I thought Ms. McDaniel participated as well, in the strategic plan update. And so I thought you were present during that process.
It was the, I think when we did the first year of the 5 year.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about.
We just did it last year.
I told y'all to take me off.
You told them to take you off?
Yeah, I remember saying that.
Okay.
But I'm not on here.
Okay. Well, we'd be happy to take you off, Ms. Hoffman. Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying, because I didn't, I'm assuming you had current meetings, right? To be looking at it yearly.
Last year, you were there.
Yeah, so all we're doing now is just updating what occurred last year. So we're putting in current data to the plan that was approved last year.
So you don't have a meeting to go over it?
No.
Why not? I think we should be doing something like that.
Because the plan doesn't change. All we're doing is updating the renewal plan. And so we're just putting current data in the plan. It's the same plan, and you do it once every 5 years. You just update it periodically during that 5-year period. And so we aren't doing a new plan every year. We're just updating the plan during that 5-year period.
So we don't have any kind of committee that we updated, to put that information in there.
And so we wouldn't necessarily need a committee. So if I wanted to update what our pass rate for U.S. history was this past year, we could just update the plan to show what the pass rate for U.S. history was. If you follow what I'm saying, all you're doing is updating the data. And so you wouldn't necessarily need to have a committee to update the data because there's not anything discretionary that you're putting there. It's just all objective information.
It doesn't make sense why the names would be on there that was at the beginning of it that's not showing as an updated. It makes it look like they were involved in discussing what was being updated as far as that information.
And just like, there's several names there who were involved in the development of the school renewal plan, which is a 5-year document. All we're doing now is simply updating the data that's in the 5-year document, and we do that annually.
I think, Madam Chair, the State Department, I guess that's who put this document together. I think they were remiss in the fact that normally with a strategic plan, when it's just that you planning how you want to strategically move forward. But the way it's set up, you list your strength, your weaknesses, and / improvement needed, but it doesn't really give leeway for the board to talk about and make sure it's in the budget, those resources that are necessary to respond to the weaknesses that's in the plan. To me, that's kind of, they remiss in not putting that in here. Because I mean, just updating it with the data, what does that accomplish? If you're looking at the fact that you have less students who are national board certified, okay, so what does that mean? Does that mean it's good? Does it mean it's bad? What? So I think it would be a good idea if we just extended it ourselves to that next column on things that we need to improve on. I see you looking like I'm crazy, Dr. Reed.
You kind of lost me there. Yeah, I'm a little lost on that.
But I mean, what's the point in wasting time updating it if you're not going to use the data to improve?
Okay, so Ms. McNair, what I would say, let's say for example, last year the percentage of students who were successful on the U.S. History Intercourse exam went down. Okay, and so that would be reflected in our current data for this past year. Obviously, from an administrative perspective, district level and school level, if we observe that the percentage of students that passed U.S. history went down, then we would know we need to make some adjustments to our instructional program. And so we do utilize the data. All we're saying is in this particular document, we're just reflecting what the current data is. But absolutely, we take a look at the data and we determine how we need to respond as a result of what the data is revealing to us.
Yeah, and I guess that's what I'm saying. What the State Department is remiss in not having a call you to say, okay, we projected we was going to go up 5%, but we only went up 2%. Then the extended column would say that we're going to do X, Y, Z to try to get back to that, to get the 5%, 6%, whatever our goal is.
I understand.
Yeah, that's all I was saying.
But nevertheless, the way it is written, we have updated the data within the strategic plan, which is done every 5 years. Ms. Hartman, would you like your name removed? And I recall that you were at those meetings that were held last year, but we can certainly remove your name if you're not comfortable with that.
Yeah, to me, it just looks like to me, you know, on the initial things, fine, but, you know, it looks like to me like they renewed, you know, they were reviewing it, this group of people, and you're saying they didn't, which I know I didn't.
Okay, would you like your name to
Yes,
stay or go?
Go, please.
Okay, we can do that, thank you. The superintendent has made the recommendation that the board approve the 17-18 strategic plan and school renewal plan updates. Those in favor signify by the raising of the right hand. We've got 5, thank you. We'll move to operations and finance.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Board of Trustees, Dr. Green. In the board packet this evening, you have the finance report for the month of February 2017 for your review.
Comments? Okay, thank you.
The second item in the board packet under finance and operations is the proposed, the budget hearing timeline for the 17-18 operational budget. And that's for your review.
Madam Chair, can you tell me when we'll start getting the information where we can be reviewing that?
And so, Madam Chair, members of the board, Mr. Robinson plans to have a first reading prepared by next month's meeting. Am I correct? And I don't have the information.
That's in 2 weeks.
Yeah, and so that information, Ms. Hartman, will be available for your review at that time.
Madam Chair, Dr. Green, what are you all planning? I don't recall us discussing that date, and I'm going to be out of town on that date, and I won't even be accessible by phone.
What day are you referring to?
4th of April for the first reading.
We probably did, Ms. McDaniel, to be honest with you. Mr. Robinson probably just picked are y'all talking about it?
That's a regularly scheduled board meeting for each.
That's a regular scheduled board meeting. Okay,
Right.
well, that's right, yeah.
Okay.
But
We approved all of that. We haven't changed it. That was one of the,
because of
last
spring
summer
break.
when it was set. Yeah, it was set then.
So we changed it for what reason?
We did not change it. That's what we approved.
I mean, I know, but when we approved it, I remember having a discussion about it, so we approved it, so we moved it to that Tuesday for what reason?
They'll be out of spring
Spring
break
break.
next week. It's 10, 11.
So was there consideration for the week after that?
Well, the contracts would have to be approved. The teacher contracts would need to be approved prior to the 15th of April.
Okay, so back to our original question is, what are we gonna go over on the budget for that? Do you have any idea? You gonna have a lengthy discussion or just first reading title only, or?
Well, it'll be first reading, and depending on how much discussion the board wishes to engage in.
Oh, well, I won't be here, so they'll probably be about
Yeah,
that.
yeah. So obviously we have several readings, so you may just take the first reading, Ms. McDaniel, and try and gather all your thoughts and your questions and be prepared for second reading. So it may not be a lot of lengthy discussions
So
for the
we'll
first
have a
reading.
discussion with that.
So send your questions
Oh, no,
in
ma'am.
writing.
If you give us the information early enough, we would have them more ahead too.
Well, we got 3 readings on it, Ms. Hawes, so we got plenty of time to hash it out.
Most things, you just like the meeting for this, we don't get it but Friday before, and I've
Right.
asked for it earlier when it was Thursday, and then I got it a day later and from then on. When's the date for our work session?
We haven't set one.
Are we gonna have any?
But that's up to the board if we need one. I think we probably would like to see the first reading and decide at that point, because obviously we can't decide between now and then. That's in 2 weeks.
You know, it's
Need to have
by
one.
title only. Normally, you don't go into all that detail on the first reading. All right. I'm gonna go now, 'cause I need to go. I just wonder how much discussion y'all was on that.
Okay, next item.
The third item is facility usage request, and the superintendent recommends the board approve the facility usage request for the U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission to have their public meeting for BC Summer Units 1, 2, and 3 at McCoy-Liston School of Technology, and to waive all fees.
Madam Chair, make a motion to approve the facility usage request by the U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission to waive fees.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Fred. Mr. Miller, discussion, comments?
Madam Chair, Dr. Green, you know the question.
Go ahead, ask.
Let it be on the record. Did we ask them to pay it? Or we just offered them a waiver?
They requested a waiver, Mr. Daniel. I didn't second guess their request. They asked for a waiver, and I figured we should oblige.
But they do have money, we know that, right?
I'm sure they do.
All right, we could use that money for our beta club students.
Yeah, I'm sure they do.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
All right, any other comments? Hearing none, the superintendent's recommendation is that the board approve the facility usage request for the U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission to have their public meeting for the VC Summer Units 1, 2, 3 at McCoy-Liston School of Technology, and that those fees be waived. Those in favor signify by raising of the right hand. 2, 3, 4, 5. Opposition, abstention, 1. Thank you.
Madam Chair, I need the record to state why I'm abstaining since that nuclear plant sits directly in my district. And I am abstaining because I believe they can pay a little bit and they should be giving us some money to use the facility. If nothing else, they should reimburse us for custodial fees. However, I do appreciate the fact that they are coming in the community and having a discussion about what's going on with the plant. For the record, please, ma'am.
All right. Human Resources. Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board. For your approval, Human Resources item, certified resignations and terminations. In Exhibit 1, the superintendent recommends the board approve resignations and terminations for certified staff members.
Madam Chair, I move to accept the superintendent's recommendation for the certified, regarding certified resignations and terminations.
Thank you, Mr. McDaniel.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Britt. These certified staff members have submitted resignations for the conclusion of the 16-17 school year. Those in favor signify by the raising of the right hand. 6-0. Thank you. Next, for your approval are certified recommendations whereby the superintendent recommends the board approve recommendations of professional certified staff for academic year 2017-18.
Madam Chair, I move to accept the superintendent's recommendation regarding the certified recommendations.
Second, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. McDaniel. Mr. Miller, the recommendation is that the board approve the certified staff position, the certified professional certified staff for the 17-18 school year. Those in favor signify by the raising of the right hand. Thank you. Lastly, certified administrative recommendations for 2017-18, whereby the superintendent recommends board approval for certified administrators for the academic year 27-18.
Madam Chair, I move that we accept the superintendent's recommendation regarding the professional, non-certified.
Administrative. Certified administrative.
And I'm trying to make my motion. Madam Chair, I move that we accept the recommendation of the superintendent regarding the certified administrative recommendations.
Would that be for 2017-18?
That's what you wanted for Dr. Miller?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, 2017-18.
Thank you, Ms. McDaniel. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Hartman. Superintendent's recommendation is that the certified administrative staff be recommended for 2017-18. Those in favor signify by raising of the right hand. 6. Thank you. Yeah.
Madam Chair, I had one final question, if I may.
We promise it's final?
No. I think it's final. The magnet school, I didn't see them on there for Beta Club. What happened? Or did I just miss it?
So the magnet school elected to participate in another activity in lieu of the Beta Club trip. And off the top of my head, it was something on the Barrier Island that they participated with in lieu of. So they didn't compete this year.
Was it?
Is there any particular reason why? You know, because, you know, usually they compete, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And so no particular reason was offered other than they felt it would be a good idea to give kids a different experience. And so those students had participated in the State Beta Club Convention for several years, and they thought that this would be a different set of, different kind of exposure. And so I supported their decision to do so.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, okay, this is my final time. We have a member of our community who gave a lot of years to the school district and going through some hardship right now. And so, is it possible, Dr. Green, I can share with you, or Mr. Waters, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, yeah. Share with you and maybe see how we can kind of, what are you doing? I'm not doing anything. Assist with maybe helping her. I can't give you the details now, but maybe we can talk about it and see how the district might be able to assist her, even if it's no more than maybe sharing whatever the issue is. And
Yeah. So yeah, let's talk after the meeting or whatever you get there.
okay. Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to the final J. We have under the board chair report a number of items, and we appreciate those being put there so that we're aware of events in the schools and in the community. I know, obviously through Dr. Mason, she loves seeing who's there, and we'll call you out if you are or aren't there. And certainly I would encourage you to attend where you can. The training calendar's there, the National School Board Convention is there, and importantly, if you haven't done your Statement of Economic Interest, you only got a few more days for that. Get that done by the 31st, which is next Thursday, or I believe. But anyway, take a look at those items that are listed there. The blood drive, they're all obviously very important items, and lots more I'm sure will be coming, because after all it is spring, and lots of events and culmination of lots of hard work from the school year. As we move toward conclusion, thank y'all again for attending. Beta Club guys, Lamar, congratulations again, and thank you for enduring all of the meeting to get here to the end. But we appreciate what you've done in your representation for Fairfield Central as well as Fairfield County School District, as well as all of us, the Board of Trustees. We wear that shirt proudly and bring us back another round of recognition. We look forward to that. Thank you. Motion to adjourn.
Madam Chair, move we adjourn.
Thank you, Ms. McDaniel. There's a second. Those in favor signify by raising the right hand. Thank you. See you on April the 4th. 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
early in the morning.
She already have mine. And there is my black coat, so I'm gonna read tomorrow.
How you doing, huh?